In this video, I will explain how the plague disrupts the human immune system. But first, let's get some basic information down. The plague is an infectious disease caused by the bacteria Yersinia pestis. It has an infamous history and is often credited with wiping out anywhere from 30 to 60% of the European population during a period known as the Black Death. The plague comes in three different forms: bubonic plague, which is associated with swollen lymph nodes; septicemic plague, which causes an infection of the blood; and pneumonic plague, which can be transmitted via the airborne cough droplets of those with plague pneumonia. But how exactly does the plague break down the immune system and wreak havoc? In short, Yersinia pestis, the microbe that causes plague, manages to prevent the human body from triggering a protective immune response. Let's dive into how exactly it does this. Yersinia pestis attacks and kills cells using something called a type 3 pathway. A type 3 pathway is a needle-like structure on the bacteria that allows it to detect cells and inject them with toxic proteins. This structure ultimately allows Yersinia pestis to kill cells in the immune system. One toxic protein transmitted through the type 3 pathway is called LCRV. This protein aids in the needle's penetration of the immune cell's membrane and causes the cell to produce interleukin, a chemical which hampers immune response. Nevertheless, Yersinia pestis doesn't kill immune cells willy-nilly. The type 3 pathway of the bacteria mostly only targets macrophages, neutrophils, and dendritic cells. These three types of cells are the first line of the immune system's defense. Ordinarily, macrophages, neutrophils, and dendritic cells would report to the scene of a bacterial infection and break the infected cells into smaller pieces. They would then share this information with T cells and B cells, who have the ability to interpret and respond to the infection. However, when there are limited macrophages, neutrophils, and dendritic cells to report to T and B cells, the immune response is delayed significantly. Oftentimes, this delay is long enough to result in the death of an infected person. Now let's use an analogy to break this information down further. Think of the plague as a plot conceived by a band of thieves. Instead of distracting or killing local police officers that might respond to the bank robbery they're about to commit, which would be akin to Yersinia pestis directly attacking T and B cells, these thieves cut the phone lines in the bank so that no one can call the police, and distract 911 operators with numerous false incident reports, so that any calls that do go through will not be responded to quickly or adequately. This technique of attacking a system's first line of defense, be it by disrupting access to a 911 operator or by killing macrophages, neutrophils, and dendritic cells, ruins the communication pathways necessary for effective response. It is in this way that the plague is able to disrupt the human immune system.